You're watching MMA Oddsbreaker. I'm Frank Trigg. That, of course, is the punk, Josh Thomson. Retired, not retired. Retired, maybe. Upset, pissed off. Lost a close fight. Not retired anymore because of the new tough coaches, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how they came to this decision. Like, I just don't get it.
I mean, honestly, had I won the fight, we wouldn't be in this position anyways. And I look at it a bunch of different ways. You know, it should have been me, but I mean, I'm not mad at either one of the guys. I'm more just mad at myself and the opportunity that I feel was lost, and that's kind of it.
So, what happens if you fight these guys? Let's say something happens and you got to fight these guys in 12 weeks. They call you today and go, look, we've changed plans. You're fighting Gilbert Melendez in 12 weeks. What happens?
I'm going to fight Gilbert Melendez in 12 weeks.
And what happens? What happens in that fight?
I don't know. What do you think happens, man? I beat him like I did the third fight.
So you got to fight Pettis.
No matter what you do. Hey, man, no matter what you do, the toughest fights, honestly, are in the 155-pound division. It doesn't matter. We're the hardest guys to finish. We're the most athletic. We're the best guys right now, I feel, in the sport. So it doesn't matter if I fight the number 10 guy or the number 1 guy. They're all going to be tough fights. Right.
It is, and has been for a long time. It's the toughest weight class right now, especially with GSP out, and there's no more argument, about where the toughest weight class is. It's 155. That's what it is. Every guy within the top 10 can be the champ on a given night. Just depends on how it pans out. Exactly. If you had to go back to your last,
not to mention, there's always a new guy coming up. I mean, there's always somebody new that's just right there. He's right outside, or he's just coming into the top 10, and all he's got to do is win 1 or 2 good fights, against top 10 guys, and they're right there, and they're always interchangeable. That's why you'll see top guys sometimes get cut because there's another 155-pounder that's right around the corner that can replace him.
Go back to your last fight. You lose. It's close. You lose. What do you think you had to do differently to not lose? Like, what do you think would have won that in the judge's mind?
Probably should have just thrown more punches, a little bit more on the offensive. I mean, I feel like I did enough to win, and I didn't just feel like I did enough to win, but I felt like I did enough to win 4-1. I mean, I went back and actually watched in the fight. I had myself winning 3-2. When I got home and watched it on tape, or I watched it on TiVo, I thought I ended up winning 4-1. So, but ultimately, it's not really my decision. So it's up to the judges, And honestly, I'm calling him out right now. Sal Del Mato cost me my title shot. Cost me the chance to be the tough coach. Cost me a lot. He's the same judge that basically had Uriah Faber losing every round against Dominic Cruz in their first fight.
Yep.
I mean, remember that fight was like a split decision, and all of a sudden he had Uriah losing every round. So it just lets you know he has no idea what he's doing with the sport. And obviously, me calling out a judge is not going to help my career at all. But I mean, I think it's time that we start fixing, start getting them educated in the sport itself instead of just thinking that it's just striking.
What do you think is going to have to happen?
Because I personally don't know of any martial art or any type of combative sport that says, "Hey, let me give you my back so I can start to win." And that's kind of exactly what happened in this fight. Whether I did anything with it or not, he has to get back to a neutral position before he can even start to mount an offense. So I'm actually fighting from a positive position, whereas he's fighting from a deficit. It's not like he's in my half guard and he can do something like sweep me, whatever, try and go for a leg lock or anything along those lines. There's no offense that he can mount from that position. None. So that's what I'm trying to get at, is that when someone has your back, it doesn't matter if I did anything. I'm still winning. It's called the back. I'm dominating the fight. There's not anything offensively that he can do to win this fight. And like I said, I've never heard or seen anybody ever say like, "Hey, in a combative sport, let me give you my back so I can start to win and I can beat you up from here." It doesn't exist.
So what do you think is going to have to happen for the judges? Is it going to be we have to change the judging courses to make them qualified? We still have too many boxing guys that are still judging MMA fights, and we've got to switch that up.
I mean, look, I don't have anything against boxing judges in general. It's just that some of them have made the transition pretty well. And obviously it changes. I think as the sport evolves, the judging criteria will change, things like that as it goes on. But I think that certifications, classification, they need to be caught up to what is new and what is the new levels of judging criteria. I mean, what are the significance and the importance of certain positions? I mean, if I'm in mount and I don't do anything, you're still it doesn't matter. I mean,
I'm still sitting on your chest. I'm still treating you like
I'm still sitting on your chest. I mean, I have the dominant position. Let me just put it this way. Big John McCarthy has said it blatantly and like has said it out loud. He will never stand somebody up if they're on their back where they're not doing anything at all, because that's the one position that you are fighting from a negative. If you're just sitting on top of me, which I feel that they should be the same thing as far as mount. That if I'm just sitting on top of you and I'm not doing anything, I should be able to stay there because you're not doing anything to get away.
Right.
You know what I mean? But as far as that to me, mountain back are the most two important positions in our sport. I mean, where you're actually fighting from a deficit, you know? So I think those two things should they should rate it probably at the highest levels in judging and criteria. But I mean, there's so many other different things that need to be fixed in the judging criteria as well. Is you can sit back, let's just take the 5th round as an example against Benson. He hit me with a good knee, okay? He didn't take me down after that. We circled and got around, hit him with a big right hand. I didn't do anything. So basically the two combinations nullified each other, and I got a takedown in the round. That's really all that happened in the 5th round. So who won that round? Because the knee made more noise than my right hand? I mean, I still got the takedown, even though I didn't really control a lot of position, but I still got the takedown. So who did you give the round to? He got the round because he was just walking after me? Well, what if my style is like Machida, where I just circle and stay away, and look to counter? Then what? I mean, you got to put it in perspective. These judges have to understand what perspective is as far as, you know, yeah, sure, he's got ring. Maybe he's controlling which direction I go, but if he's not throwing anything, what does it matter?
Right. Yeah, and that's part of the problem is, like you're saying, like there's a bunch of positions where you guys are in control and you guys are in space, but they're going to stand you up, but they're not going to give you credit for it. Like if I got somebody's back, no matter what I'm doing, I'm in complete control. If I'm holding this guy, if I have his back, no matter what we're doing, if we're rolling back and forth like a bunch of crocodiles on the mat, or if I'm just sitting on top of him and I got his back, but I can't finish him, I still dominate because I'm in a completely dominated position, and a lot of the judges just don't see that because they don't understand what do you want to call it? You want to call it jiu-jitsu, you want to call it thug jitsu, you want to call it catch wrestling, whatever you want to call it, the ground game, a lot of these judges just don't understand. They only understand the stand-up game, which is why guys like Lyoto get away with a lot of it because they will sweep somebody and knock them down for the takedown and not really do anything with it, but they spent the whole time running away. It looks really dynamic. It looks showmanship-wise that he's doing stuff, but he's really not. And it is frustrating as a fan and a former fighter because I know what's going on inside that cage, and the judges don't. And I'm sitting at home going, what is this guy thinking? Like, how's he pulling it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, for me, like, the style of the Machida thing is, like, he sweeps them, he's not able to control position. I still count the sweep as something important, but I count it no more being as significant as, like, landing a big right hand.
Exactly. And that's my point. Unless you do something with it, then you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I don't count it for anything else besides that. Like, it doesn't hold any more significance if he doesn't control it once he hits the ground. I mean, if the guy circles and scrambles and comes up on the single leg, you know, then it really, to me, it just counts as if he just threw a right hand and landed it.
Right. It is difficult to deal with. It is a difficult task because you're sitting here trying to battle and win things, and you're wondering, like, even at the end of it, like, you're like, what are these judges looking at? Like, I've won this fight 3-2. I go home, I look at it again. I've won this fight 4-1, and I lose. Like, how is this possible? I don't understand. And they're looking at different things. It is a rigmarole, but it is also human error. And even Dana White's come out and said, like, they got to do something about the judging, and they got to do something about the refereeing. Like, they've got to do things, and eventually they'll get better.
Well, just like even that night, he was kind of like, I mean, he basically said the scoring was way off without really calling one out, because I really think that he wants to avoid. You know, I can't really put words in his mouth, but I think we've been getting a lot of criticism from the judge, about the judges lately. I think it's time to kind of back off of it, try and maybe just find a different landscape on how we can attack it without really talking about it a whole lot. So hopefully something gets done about it. I mean, otherwise we're just sitting around whining and crying, spinning our wheels. That's kind of what I think the mentality is right now. We've complained about it so much as of lately because with the Jones and Gustafsson fight, my fight. I mean, even things can be said about the Gilbert and Ben Henderson fight from before. You know, I mean, there's a lot of fights that can be talked about, but I think just as of late, like the Gus and John Jones fight, which I thought was really close as well. Mm-hmm. But I thought with mine, I didn't really think it was all that close. I thought for sure I won 3-2. I don't even really, unless you want to give me 10-8 the first round, I would give it possibly the worst would be a draw. But I don't see how I lost that fight.
And I was confused too because I thought you won it as well. And I was at home and trying to figure it out, and I still can't for the life of me figure out which way you went and how the judges.
Well, the funny part is like I'm not like, I guess for me I'm not really a media favorite. And so, but I've noticed that a lot of the media that I know that doesn't like me, they even had me winning 3-2 or 4-1. which says a lot because, I tend to get the media bias and, the media doesn't really care for me. So that kind of works out in my favor, which is it's been kind of nice. So it was actually made me feel good knowing that other people thought it. Too bad it just wasn't the judge.
So what's next for Josh Thomson? What's going to happen next? Like, what's your game plan to get back in there?
I sat at home and I was just I'm still trying to get healed up. I just got the pin out of my thumb.
I saw the photos on Instagram or Facebook or something. I saw you getting the crap taken out.
Yeah, so that was last Thursday. We got that out. I'm in a partial little half cast right now that's removable, so I can wash my hair and do all that stuff. But really, realistically, it didn't really come down to just the Pettis and the Gilbert thing happening. Is I sat back and was just kind of like thinking to myself that I want to make sure that I use up all my talent, all my ability, everything that I've been given, and I want to make sure that I not just go out. I'm not trying to say I want to go out on top, but you don't want to look back and think that you had a couple more years left in you. You didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is I feel like I showed everyone with one hand that I pretty much beat the former champion, and and everyone knows that Gil and I have had great fights before, and so I'm older. But I think there's so much more left in the tank. It's just a matter of getting the right opponents that motivate me to help push me. And Benson was that guy. It was unfortunate that it happened in the first round. To be honest, had I broke my hand, because I've had a fractured hand, and it didn't bother me. It hurt. It hurt to punch, but that was about it. But tearing something in your hand and your wrists and your ligaments and your thumb, it literally kind of grossed me out because every time I went to push on it, it would fold figured. In your mind, it just plays tricks on you. And I'd never experienced. Literally, when I broke my ankle and I've got a plate and 9 screws in it, I got up and finished the round. And so I can deal with pain, but something like that is just in your mind. I think when you see it, your hand and your body figured, whatever, disfigured, it really throws you off. It really kind of just mentally shut me down, and it's unfortunate because I never had to deal with something like that before, and so it just put me in shock, and it sucks because it cost me the fight.
Well, it ended up being a great fight, even though you hurt your hand in the first round. It ends up being, in my mind, you still win the fight, and even though you were basically at that point 75%, you weren't even 80% anymore. You were completely even when you threw the punch, you still had to take some heat off it because you don't want to hurt your hand anymore. Yeah. So it was difficult, and I mean, look at you now. That's the former champ. You in my mind win the fight, lose a close decision with one hand. So what's going to happen when you're back and you're healed? Who's the first guy that you would love that you want to battle? If they give you a choice and said, look, I want you get this one guy, you can pick anybody you want your next fight out, whenever you're healed, whenever you're ready, however long it takes to get to that point, who would you want to have yourself fight next? Right now, today, because remember, in 6 months, it changes because there's a new guy that comes in. So there's always somebody new, so right now.
That's the hard part. I mean, realistically, it's whoever's going to give me the next title shot. So if they throw it, it doesn't matter. I mean, they could tell me the number 20 guy. They could tell me, Benson again, and I would do it.
As long as that guy's the title shot.
Yeah, as long as whoever that guy is the title shot. That's all. That's all I'm looking for. I mean, I'm just looking for whoever's going to get me to that title shot. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else. I just want to know: is it going to be? I mean, are you going to give me like what Gil got? He got a Diego, and now he gets a title shot. I mean, I'm trying to fight the best guys. I'm trying to fight Benson. I'm trying to fight. I want to fight this. If I have to fight him again, I'll fight him again. If I need to fight Gil, I'll fight Gil. Whatever it is, even though they've got something lined up, those are the. I always just anticipated and always thought that, if you're going to fight for the title, your next guy should be the toughest guy in front of you. And the toughest guy in front of me, I guess, is still Benson because I haven't, we really haven't gone anywhere. There's Benson and Gil. So Gil seems like he's up next for Pettis, and so I'm kind of just, I'm sitting here going, man, this sucks.
How long is it be before you get back to full training camp?
You know what? Right now, I'm just trying to focus on my gym. I mean, as you know,
I've
got some things going. Yeah, my Dash gym. I got the grand opening in 2 weeks, and then after that, I'm hoping to get back in the gym full time.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just heel-wise. Don't worry about all the extra stuff, like healing-wise. How long until you could start another full training camp? If everything was...
we won't. I mean, honestly, I probably won't know. Probably like another at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, before you know that you could be able to start one because you have to go back and get...
No. I should be able to start training in about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, and then give yourself a good 12-weeker, so you're looking at, 15, 16 weeks you could feasibly be fighting, which is not that bad. It's not that long. It's only looking at like 4.5, 5 months. So it's actually not that long to be out.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think probably I would give myself a good 10-week camp and I'd be fine. That last camp really threw me off. I mean, even though, because I own a fitness gym, so I'm here I'm here still doing stuff. I'm still, you know, working on my cardio. I can still ride a bike. I can still run. I can still do all these other things. So I'm still doing a lot of plyometric stuff and a lot of explosive stuff. So all that stuff I'm still doing because I'm able to do it with one hand. You know, so all that stuff I've been able to work on and stay sharp. The things that I haven't been able to do is the striking, the grappling, all that stuff. You just can't do that.
Right. So even with one hand, it's too much, you know, and you definitely don't want to go in too soon and set your back.
I think the best thing for me to do right now is just to stay fit. That's really the best thing. So when I do get back in, I'm ready to go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Josh Thomson. Josh, thanks for coming on here with MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. A little longer than I wanted to keep you, but I appreciate it. It's always great talking with you. Good luck with your grand opening here in a couple weeks with Dash. We'll talk to you soon, bud.